Well, after driving it now, I think I got to do the fronts. Hey, welcome back to another episode of Cheapskate Garage. Today we're going to be replacing the shocks on a Mazda 3. It's been long overdue, and the car goes woo 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 down the freeway when it hit bumps, but the first step to this job, the very first step is you say hi to your cat. Make sure she is fed. Alright, let's dive into it. So when you jack and support a vehicle, get the jack out of there, throw some jack stands under it. And you want to give it some more shakes than whatever you can ever do. Turning a wrench underneath it. You want to make sure it's not going to fall on you. So now that I got you down here, it looks like the bottom's going to be a 17. And the top's going to be on the very top. It might be 2 bolts way up there or just one on the very top inside the trunk. We're going to find out here in a second. I'll show you. So looking at the new shock absorber here, if you look at the end of it, it's flat spotted. That's so you can get another tool, another wrench on there to help break this nut free. And I don't have the special tool, and I don't have the special socket to fit down inside there to do it, so I have to do it the other way. So in behind the tire here is this dirt shield here on the shock absorber, which is nice. It helps save your shocks, but it's got to come off. And way up here are 2 12mm bolts that got to come off. Once they come off, that whole top section will drop down. Once you drop those 2 screws out, you can see my sockets coming in through the top. This will drop down like this, and then we can reassemble them on the bench after we get the lower side out, which we'll do next. So the next thing you want to do is you want to get under the car and take a 17mm socket and take out this bolt. Gotta love power tools. And this should come right out. So I first took out the bottom and lifted it up out of its bracket, dropped it down on its side, and there it is, out it came. Now that we have it up here on the bench, we can take a pair of vice grips on here, a 13mm wrench, we can break this free. So the vice grips are holding that shaft from spinning while I undo the nut. On other vehicles and makes and models, if they don't have this in here, you can really easily just grab it with a pair of vice grips on the old one and take out the top nut from the top and save yourself a little time. There's the old shock. You can see I'm pushing this in and out by hand. Oil's coming out from the bottom. It's done for. Throw that in the scrap pile. So now we grab our new shock. It's got the bushing here. You want to leave that in place. Slip this down over it. Until the nut comes through. just like that. Take your new nut, thread it on there, and tighten it down. So I real quickly wanted to show you, you got this end, you got this end. These two ends can swivel on you, and that's what I was talking about earlier, what makes it hard to take off this top nut right up here when taking the old ones off. This one's all tightened down, it's all ready to go, so we're going to throw this one back in. And what you do to one side, you got to do to the other. So we're going to slip this guy back up in there, the same way we took it out. And this is where it takes just a little bit of strength. I'm going to compress that shock. Just a little bit. And get it to set up in here. Be careful not to pinch your fingers or your hands, because you can. And then you want to get it to come back down through this hole. You don't want to install the bottom yet. You want to do the top first. Because you got to work around all those bolts up there. So get it to come down. You can see that. Bring it up and back down through here. Go around to the outside and do your two top bolts. Make sure that that doesn't have a certain way. I was judging by the dirt on it. It looked like it originally went this way. Get that up in there. And I'm doing this one-handed. Get one nut started. Get the second nut started. Well, I dropped the nut. We'll come back to this. So is what I like to do is I like to get a small non-metallic Phillips screwdriver. We'll just push this up and use the screwdriver to line everything up. Ooh, this suspension's hanging down further than what I wanted. That might be an issue. So if you have that problem, bring your jack in under here and lightly lift up right in here. And it you can put it in place, but I think heave-hoeing it, I can get it in. Take your rattle gun or your ratchet. Always start the bolt slow when you're using a power tool. And then once you know what's in there, then you can send it home. Let's do the other side. Ooh. Okay, one part done. Let's go to the side. So we got these two bolts here we want to break loose. Well, that one's on there a little tighter than I was expecting. I think we'll cheat today. And now this one will come right out from the bottom. So it's just lift up and slide out. And then we can take it out and put all the other tool parts on it. Yeah, I just pulled this one apart and look at how rusty and corroded it is. It's so bad that water's shooting out the top. I thought it was oil for a second, but it's water. That's where all that funny noise was coming from. But we're going to swap over the parts and put it back on and call it a day. The shocks that I ordered for this project are shock absorbers, premium quality, the brand you demand, FCS Auto. I think the part number is IATF 16949. I got them through Rock Auto. Shipping was, I guess, cheap. I shipped it the cheapest method, FedEx, and that's why they're here Friday or Thursday rather than Monday like they said. You know, what happened to companies putting free stickers in packages? I guess that's what happens when you go cheap. We got the nut off there. Take our old piece. Find the hole, Jimmy. There we go. Take our new nut. Imagine you could probably use the old one if you wanted to. Or you could be like Grandpa and put your nuts in a jar and save them for a later date. No pun intended. Little trick I did last time. I don't know if put the wrench on there first. Grab the top and spin away. Alright, let's go install it. So, just like we did before, slide it in, give it a twist, half triple cow sour or whatever they say in ice skating, and then we're going to go and put it up and drop it into our little hole there. Actually, I wonder if I'm good enough to get it in there right here, right now. Not without getting a bunch of dirt in my face. Sometimes you just got to be 10% smarter than what you're working with. I think I am today. I already got half of it done. Let's go up top. So one thing is, make sure you keep track of the nuts, because I just spent looking for one of two nuts. Spent what, 7 minutes looking for it, because I let it fall down graciously. Fell on top of the spring tower. I never would have thought to look there. But we got them, so we're going to put them in. When I do this, I like to get both nuts started before I tighten them both down. God, I bet my grandfather would have killed to have one of these back in the day. Oh, but back in the day they made things easier to work on. Alright, step 39. put the bolt back in. Lift it up, bring it down, try to get it aligned. Come on. Maybe jiggle it a little bit. Well, shoot. So this is when you go and get the jack. So what I'm going to do here is, I know I need about that much space. Maybe that much. It's that big. That's what she said. That I need. So I'm going to bring up my jack right under the tire, so that way it's still out of my way. But I'm going to watch it go up just a little bit. I don't want to support it. I just want it to stay up, so that way I could put in the rest of the shock. And you might have to do this too. I think we got it. Send her home. We're done. And that's all there is to it. So a little recap, we used a vice grip, a 12mm socket, 13mm wrench, and a 17mm socket, a jack, and 2 jack stands for this job. If you really thought I screwed something up here today, you put it down there in the comments. But as you can see, it's not very hard to change the shocks out on a Mazda 3. Anybody can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. But thanks for watching. Click the subscribe button over here. You can catch the next video right up there. I'm going to go in, wash up, pick my daughter up. Remember, there's always a better deal somewhere else.